Hello and welcome to the second part of my Harry Styles speed build. This is the part where I will be furnishing his house. Um, if you saw the first part last week, I think I explained that this is part of a series that I'm doing of One Direction themed speed builds. I started with a Louis Tomlinson themed home and a Zayn Malik themed home back last winter, last March, right before Zayn left the band, and then abandoned the series a little bit after Zayn left because Zayn was my favorite, so it was really difficult for me to kind of continue on with the series when at the time I just thought, One Direction was going to come to an end completely, and it was just a really difficult time, and then, I got busy with life and ended up giving up on YouTube for a little bit too, for a while, but I'm back now and I have plans to finish the series. This is Harry's house, and then next I'll be doing Niall, and then I'll be finishing with Liam. I've already built part of Niall's house, and I just have to furnish it. But I was waiting for the new stuff pack to come out, the movie magic, whatever they're calling it, the movie themed stuff pack, because I think that Niall would absolutely love the movie theme that it has to it, and I wanted to use some of the elements in his house. I'm a little bit upset that it came out after I finished furnishing Harry's house because the stuff pack itself has kind of like a boho theme to it. Um, Maybe like a hippie little bit of nature to it, bright colors, flowers, and Harry is a little bit of a free spirit, and he enjoys flashy colors, fun fashion designs. He's very out there, and he's not willing to. He's not scared to take risks. So I think a lot of the stuff in that stuff pack would have fit him well. But I didn't have it when I was furnishing this house, so it's not going to be part of this video. With Harry's home, I wanted it to look pretty modern, but not the type of modern where it's like minimalist and you're scared to touch anything. I just wanted it to look modern more in the like eco-friendly one with nature type of modern design. I don't know if that really makes sense, but that's kind of what was in my mind while I was doing it. Um, I put a few different or interesting objects in his home. I put that camera there because Harry has like this vintage 8mm camera that he carries around with him for some reason. I don't know if he's any good at taking photos, but yeah, he's a little bit quirky and he likes things like that. So I did include a few objects here and there that are just a little bit quirky and that I think Harry would enjoy. But other than that, I just tried to stick to a very natural theme, kind of indoor-outdoor living, open spaces, that type of thing. Harry's master bedroom, which is the part I furnished first in this home, is actually really cool. He has this walk-in closet that I'm doing now, and then I also built him like a small recording studio in his master suite, and then he has a huge master bathroom. So that's pretty nice. I went with the wood paneling in the master closet because I thought like you want to have cedar closets if you have like furs or really nice clothes that you want to preserve and keep nice for a long time. So I thought that was kind of a nice element, and then I also thought it was another um, way to just kind of bring the outdoors inside. And then I hung that like high fashion poster thing against the wall. Um, just because I think Harry would like it. It's totally random. I put the cork board in there too because I thought Harry might like to pin up things that he likes seeing or outfits he's interested in or just his general thoughts on life, and that could be a cool place to just pin up some of his thoughts. Um, but yeah, I mean, I kept it relatively simple in here. Um, when I say relatively, obviously I did a few different types of things, uh, just with the curtain above the bed and that like window, it's not really a window box, but it has that grass growing in it. I put that above the bed too, and just some random things here and there. But yeah, the bedroom's not too complex. Um, I apologize for this, but I did take a while to get this video out after the first part came out. Um, we've had a bit of a family emergency over the last week. Unfortunately, my grandmother is very sick, and she's been hospitalized, and she's actually in surgery right now as I'm recording this. But we've been waiting for a week to find out whether or not they were going to do this surgery, and it's just been a whole ordeal. And I'm very, very close with her, so it's been really difficult this week to go through that. And I didn't get time to record while I was kind of shuttling between the hospital and home, and also trying to work at the same time. And it's just been a rough week, so it did take me a long time to get this video done, but hopefully it's worth the wait. I think back to the video, I was doing the studio here, and so I built kind of like a 1x2 room with that microphone in it where you could kind of pretend like he's recording a song. And then had like a computer next to it where you could like mix tracks and all of that stuff, and use the computer hard drive pieces because I don't really use them that often, and I thought that you could kind of act like they're mixed tracks. Or I know there's a lot of equipment when you're recording music, and I don't really know what a lot of it is called, but it looks big and bulky, and so I thought that kind of looked like their recording equipment a little bit. And then I added a little bit of a seating area where Harry could sit and write songs, or people could sit while he's recording, or anything like that. And I created one small trophy case above the desk to keep some of the awards he's won. I did remove some of the footage from furnishing this home just because it was long and kind of boring, and felt like you didn't need to see the whole thing. If I kept all of the footage in, it was going to be like a 50-minute video. So I did take some of the footage out, and that included cutting where I furnished his upstairs office. And I put a lot more trophies, and in his case they would be like awards that he's won. I put a lot more up in there, but I just placed them like on a side table, so I didn't really do anything that interesting with them. So you do kind of miss out on the footage, but if you download the home, they'll be there. And this home, like all of my other builds, is available on the gallery. I have a link below to my origin ID, which is just REL Sims 28. And you can find all of my builds on there, and download this home if you like. I was working on his master bathroom here, and I tried a few layouts just in terms of where to place the sinks and shower. And this was the original layout, and it ends up changing because originally I thought it would be cool to split up the sinks, but then the shower just ended up kind of awkwardly next to one of the sinks, and I felt like it didn't make a ton of sense that way. So I do end up moving the shower. Here's obviously where I start to do it. And then I have the sinks on one wall, and I think it does work better that way. I also added in a lot of little kind of like tchotchkes. Just by the tub, I put a wall of candles behind it. Harry really likes candles. He's brought it up a few times in interviews that he likes to bring candles with him on tour because he likes to have the same smells, like, follow him wherever he goes, which is a very interesting idea. But I mean, a lot of people really do like candles, and so I guess he's just a candle person. So I tried to put a ton of candles all over the house and just in different rooms. And I think by the time I got to the end of furnishing, I kind of forgot a little bit about the candles. so there's not as many included near the end, but I did put quite a few candles in through the early parts of the build. And I did try and work in plants pretty much everywhere in this home. I really do have to diversify the types of plants that I use. I tend to use the same like decorative plants over and over again, and then I get annoyed because I feel like there aren't enough plants in the game when really I'm like not using half of them. Like the cactus plants I never end up using. Um, I don't really like cactuses or cacti. I don't know what the plural form of cactus is. Whatever it is, my roommate and I actually have one in our apartment. We inherited it from an old roommate, and I've gotten stabbed so many times by that cactus, and then the little prickly bits get like stuck in your clothes and whatever, and so you feel like you're still getting pricked by them, but you don't know where that like I don't even know what it's called, but those sharp things that stick out of cacti. Um, like you don't know where it is, you can't find it, and you just get like stabbed all night. It's not fun. I'm not a fan of the cactus plant. Um, I didn't put any in Harry's house, so he doesn't have to worry about getting stabbed by them the way I did. This house does have two guest bedrooms, and both of them have ensuite bathrooms. I deleted the footage of the ensuite that goes along with the bedroom that I'm currently building, or currently furnishing, just because I didn't really do anything interesting with it, and I needed to cut some footage out. The video was just too long. So I cut out the bathroom that goes with this bedroom, but it's just, I mean, a pretty normal bathroom. I think you get a very quick glance at it shortly when I switch to the other guest bedroom that I built on this floor. And so I imagined in that first guest bedroom that I did that that's where Harry's family would stay if they come to visit him. Because, as I said in the first video, I imagine this home is his LA home. And that it, like, he likes to have his family and his friends come over and visit, so all of the bedrooms in the home have en suites just to make them more comfortable. Um, and so I imagined that his family from England would stay in the other bedroom when they visit, and then this blue bedroom would be more of a bedroom for his bandmates. So the decor in here is a little bit more interesting, a little bit more out there. I used the bed with Starry Night painted on it. It's a very interesting bed for Maxis or EA to include in this game. I'm not really sure why they chose to have a bed that looks very traditional, with either a plain red bedspread or two bedspreads that are just very specific. There's the Starry Night bedspread and one that's yellow with sunflowers. And I very rarely use that bed in the game, mostly because it has a very specific design. So you can't use it in a lot of different ways. I mean, I'm sure you probably can use it in a lot of different ways if you're a more creative person than I am. Um, but it's also like the second or third most expensive bed in the game, which is strange because a bed that's so constrained in terms of style, I would think you would want to have on the cheaper end of the spectrum. Although maybe they put it on the more expensive end because it is so specific and they figured not too many players would use it. I don't know, but I think that bed is really interesting for some reason. These are the things in life that like fascinate me. The choices that the Sims team makes about which beds to include in their game and which not. I don't know. But yeah, I think that bed is just a very, very strange choice. This bathroom, I like hardly have time to talk about it, but this bathroom, I tried to do something cool where I had like a tile on the wall that flowed into a tile on the floor, and that tile was all different than the rest of the wallpaper and tile in the bathroom. And I got the idea from an episode of House Hunters renovation, which I had watched, where this couple was redoing their kitchen and they had this tile design that flowed from the floor up the walls and across half of the ceiling, and it looked really cool when it was done. When the designer first proposed it, I was like, that's gonna be way too busy. That's like a crazy, creepy idea. I don't like it. But when it was finished, it looked really cool. So I tried to replicate it in the game, and I don't think I was quite that successful with it. I think next time I try it, I might try and go with more of a solid tile and more of a modern look than the tile that I used. But it was just an interesting idea that I saw from House Hunter's renovation that I just wanted to try in the game, and I figured, Harry is he's the type of person who he likes to try new things, and if they don't work, he doesn't care. He just tries things. So I thought he would be a good person, or one of the members of One Direction who would be open to that type of design in his home. Um, I wanted to give Harry a huge open space on the second floor, which is actually the main living area, because Harry likes to be around people a lot, or so it seems, and so I feel like he would like to entertain, and he'd like to have people over, and he'd like to be able to talk to them and have good flow going. So I have a relatively open kitchen, living, dining area. Um, the kitchen I had intended to build as a very big kitchen, and it isn't really that big in the end. I mean, there's plenty of counter space and plenty of seating. Like it's a big kitchen in terms of usable objects, but in terms of, space, it's not that big. I mean, it's not small, but whatever. Um, but this is also the first house that I was building with the Cool Kitchen stuff pack. So I really wanted to use the Cool Kitchen stuff counters and just objects and everything, because whenever I get anything new for The Sims and whenever I get any new objects, I'm like obsessed with them the first few times I play with it. And I use like every single object and I get really excited about using it. Um, and like even if the design doesn't work entirely, I'll use it anyway just because it's new and I want to. Um, so I kind of did that with this build. I think in terms of like the wall cabinetry, I probably should have used the cabinets that go with the lower cabinets that I put in, but I ended up using the Cool Kitchen ones instead. I had switched up the lower cabinets because they had a black top, and the white cabinets that come with Cool Kitchen stuff have a brown top. And I knew I wanted to use red as the center island because I thought that Harry, he likes color a lot, and I thought that he would like to have like a red island, like a huge red island just in the middle of his kitchen. Um, but the red counters in Cool Kitchen come with a black countertop, so it doesn't go with the white. It was too much of a color difference, so I ended up using the white lowers. Um, and then, like, you can see there, that's me being obsessed with the Cool Kitchen stuff pack because I used the dish rack. And if we're realistic here, Harry Styles is, like, a multi-millionaire. He's ridiculously rich. He probably either doesn't do his own dishes or he has like a billion dishwashers and doesn't need to have a dish rack next to his sink. So, I mean, he probably doesn't need it, but I put it in just because it was in my game and I could. So, yeah, that's why that's in there. These shelves, when I play tested the game, for some reason, the stove didn't work in the place where I put it originally. Like the sim that I used for testing these homes, he cooked the food on the stove, but when it came time to take the food off the stove, he acted like he couldn't. And I don't know what the deal was with that, but I just ended up moving the stove against the stone wall, and I had to redo some of the shelves. So these don't stay exactly the same in the final version, but the general idea of those shelves is the same, and like I used every object that you can put on a shelf from Cool Kitchen stuff, and then, just some random decor objects to round out the decoration. Um, I'm not really sure whether Harry is a good cook or whether he enjoys cooking. But I do know that when One Direction was still on X Factor, they lived in the X Factor house, and so they were like 16, 17, 18 at the time, and they were like they had chefs who could cook for them, but Harry, there's like a behind the scenes video where they show them like trying to do their laundry and trying to cook meals, and Harry was like all about trying to be domestic. um I think like his exact quote was like, "Oh, I look forward to being quite domestic" or something. I don't know, and he got made fun of for it, by the other boys in the band, but it just like made me feel like he would want to have a fully equipped kitchen and want to be like regarded as somewhat of a chef. So that was another inspiration toward giving Harry, a relatively nice sized kitchen. Um, and then I was trying to put the bar in. I couldn't figure out where I liked having the bar because it didn't really fit neatly into the spots where I had been thinking about placing it. Um, but I did finally like fit it into that alcove, so um, I think that worked out. You can see it kind of disappears here because there's some footage that I deleted of me just moving the bar around repeatedly. And then I moved on to doing the couches in the interim because I like needed some time to think. So there's a little bit of jumpy. Oh, sorry, I dropped my phone. There's a little bit of jumpy footage in terms of like where the bar is and when it's there and when it's not there and whatever. But yeah, it does end up in that spot in the dining room in the end. Um, I put it in an aquarium because I feel like Harry would be the type of person who, if he had an aquarium full of fish, he would like stand there with his nose pressed against the glass, like watching the fish all the time. So yeah, I thought that was just another fun thing to include in the house. And then I was trying to work some more flowers in, and I think I got rid of those, and ended up putting in decorative sticks because I think that that's something that Harry would see where it probably looks expensive and appears in decor magazines, and he might not like really love it, but he would totally put it in his house because he would think that he should have it because it's fashionable. Like, I think that Harry is a bit of a faker sometimes in terms of his style and his clothing choices and whatever. Like, sometimes I think that if he had to truly pick something out of his wardrobe to wear, he would never pick the things that he actually ends up wearing to certain events. Um, but I think he thinks like they're expensive and they're cool, so he should wear them if he wants to fit in. I could be like totally wrong about that judgment about Harry, but I totally think he buys things that are way overpriced just because he thinks they're fashionable and he should have them. But he's got a ton of money, so it doesn't really matter. He can he can kind of throw away money in that way, and it's not a big deal. Um, I had like that one little blank wall in the kitchen and I couldn't figure out what to do with it, so I just like threw a mirror there and then I was like, "Oh, I forgot to put in a trash barrel. I guess I'll put it there." So that ended up working nicely, and then I had this front entrance, and the original plan when I was building the house was to have an entrance that is way bigger than this, like a formal and fancy front hall type of thing. But then when I was laying out the home and just trying to fit it to the size of the lot and everything like that, it just didn't fit correctly if I did it, like if I had a huge foyer. So we're left with a little bit of a small one, but I added some interesting design, I think. I had a wall of mirrors where I took those mirrors and I kind of arranged them almost like in a collage. And the mirrors are a little bit strange because you can move a mirror up on a wall by using the 9 key, but you can't move it down by using the 0 key. So you, like, you can make a collage of mirrors, but you're a little bit constrained in how you do it. But yeah, I think it ended up working out nicely. Then I had this living area off the kitchen where, again, I was just thinking, Harry, he said one of the things he likes about LA is that the weather's nice there all the time and you can go outside. And he often, feels inspired when he goes outside. He's not a person who likes to sit around inside all day. So I wanted to create like an indoor-outdoor type of living space for him. So I created like this secondary living room on his porch, and it's full of seating, and it's got a stereo. And then I was trying to figure out items to put there, and the piano showed up, and I was like, oh, I gotta put a piano in Harry's house somewhere. So I ended up putting it down on the first floor hallway over here, which isn't really ideal, but that's just where it fit. And I had to do a little bit of rearranging in terms of the decor in that bedroom. But yeah, I'd gotten distracted by the piano. So yeah, I put a stereo out there. I put a guitar in case he wants to play guitar outside. Um, I ended up putting like the little pool lights. I think they're supposed to be pool lights. They're like the pebble things. I ended up putting them on the rug to create almost like a lighting effect, and it turned out pretty cool. Um, and then so with that staircase, I tried to make it a little bit more open than it was. And it wouldn't let me do that without changing like the siding on the house. I'm not entirely sure. It was really strange. So I got frustrated and put like that small room divider there to like bridge the gap of the hole in the staircase. So yeah, and then there's a little bit of a porch outside of Harry's bedroom, and I thought that would kind of be like his yoga meditation area. So I ended up putting like a yoga mat down there, I think. But I did that cool effect with the lights where I put them through a stool, and I also put a plant through a stool. Or, yeah, I think it's a stool. And it ended up looking kind of interesting. So yeah, I liked the way that turned out. And then the idea for his garden in the courtyard is that it's like a meditation garden. So there are the meditation stools out there, and then as you can see, the yoga mat was over there. And then I was just trying to kind of finish up the decor in that area a little bit because I just thought it needed something. So I got the idea to make like these pool lounge chairs out of wooden stools from Spa Day. And your sim can actually sit on them because the ottoman that sticks out, your sim can sit there, your sim can take a nap there. So those are actually semi-functional pool chaise lounges. Then I was furnishing the gym, and Harry is one of the members of One Direction who is really passionate about staying fit and staying in good shape. And so I thought it would just be nice for him to have a little home gym. And I think I explained in the first video that I did want to have it separate from the house because I thought he would like to go outside to use the gym. The only problem is that I made the proportions of the gym itself a little bit strange. So it took me a little while to figure out what I wanted for the layout of the gym. But I eventually settled on this design with the punching bag in one area and then the workout machines in the other. And I added like a stereo so he could have music playing while he worked out and a TV for him to watch while he's on the treadmill. And there's also an attached bathroom with a shower and a toilet, and when I tested it, I realized I needed to put a sink in there as well. So the sink ends up replacing one of the lockers between the two columns, so that your sim doesn't walk all the way back to the main house. to use a sink to wash his hands, because that turned out to be pretty annoying. Um, but anyway, I think I'm probably, yeah, I was pretty close to um, being done with this room. I just hung up a few posters and added a small little seating area near the lockers for like your sim to change clothes, because I could imagine Harry like wanting to have his workout clothes in his gym and not having to change to walk out to the gym. So the idea is that the clothes are in the locker and you change when you get there, and there's a hamper and everything. Um, but yeah, anyway, I think it's on to the screenshots now. So I hope you liked this video. I hope you like the way I furnished it. Let me know if it fits with your idea of what Harry would like in a house or not. I plan on doing Niall next, and his video should be up soon. And again, I'm sorry about the delay in getting this video up. I think, as I'm sure you can probably understand, it's just been a really difficult week, and hopefully next week will go a little better. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great day.